Out in Person London is a memoir and poverty by George Orwell, published in 1933. It details his time spent in Paris and London just before publishing his first novel. He gives detail at working in Paris and near home's condition, as well as travel experiences in London. In the first half of Down and Out, he describes experiences in Paris. He describes the atmosphere, unusual characters, art scene, and immigrant population. His descent to poverty is given all the airs of a tragic comedy. He lost his savings when an Italian compositor breaks a copy of his room key. He earns income for a little while, teaching English, but this dries up. He begins selling his clothing, then pawning his clothing, as he searches for a job with a Russian waiter. He even goes for 2 days without food as his circumstances worsen. He is tottering on the brink of true homelessness when he finally gets a job as a dishwasher in a hotel called Hotel X. This is a mind-numbing job for him with abysmal pay and long hours. He compares it to slave labor. He described the filth of the hotel in the servants' quarter and described their schedule. They work and work, barely having time to sleep, then drink half the money away on Saturday nights. He described how one night there's a murder directly below where he lives. But everyone in the house sleeps through it. He wonders why, but concludes that with their kind of labor, it seems wasteful to throw over sleep over something like a murder. His Russian friend decided to quit his job on anticipation of getting a better one at a new hotel called Athaillah de Johan. And Orwell, deceived by his optimism, does the same. The hotel struggles first, and he is not paid for 10 days. He sleeps in a bench rather than come to face with his landlady. But the job turns out to be successful. He is finally paid, though his long hours as a dishwasher becomes even longer. He describes a host of other minor characters that about the city as he moves and working about looking for a job. At some point, he feels that dishwashing has enslaved him and comments, if dishwashers were smarter, they would have unionized. They have not, however, because the nature of their labor leaves them no time to think bigger thoughts than dishwashing. He finally contacts a friend in London when the stress of the job begins to affect his mental health. The friend agrees to find a job and sends him money to get his clothing out of fun. He decided to leave Paris and return to London. He is supposed to be caretaker for an invalid, but his employer and patient goes abroad, leaving him temporarily jobless once again. He lives as a tramp until his patient returns, sleeping in public or Salvation Army accommodation. He has to keep moving because the rules for vacancy time under the Vacancy Act, and much of his time during the day is spent waiting for hostel, kitchens, and other services to open. The bulk of the second half of the memoir describes his journey, highlighting his experiences with charity and coming to understand the life of a tramp. He also describes the way he and others felt about the Christian charity offered to them. He says that they should have been more grateful, but they were not. Each one of them felt humiliated just a little by the experiences, and they were all different walks of life. The last part outline details about the kind of accommodations and services available to the local tramps. He comes to an understanding that he experiences only the fringes of poverty, and he will never again judge a man to live under those circumstances. Critics have argued about the truth of this memoir, citing evidence to show Orwell did exaggerate parts of his experience for the sake of story. Orwell himself did say he has exaggerated nothing per se, but that writers did often change or highlight the story as they chose what event to write about. He did seem to believe that part of his duty as a writer is to indeed create a good story and to detail large truths often related to experiences through rearranging and editing his chosen stories. The book is fascinating, but many critics have agreed that his gentle critique was necessary, and even-handed look at an industry often hidden from his customer. It is parody that the upper-class upbringing and the story of a bohemian past.